Xbox in trouble, Cyberpunk details, and your daily gaming news recap. Coming right up. Welcome back to Sodi Pop right here on YouTube. Today is Tuesday, August 11th. Of course, I'm Matty, and this is Chatty with Matty, your source for the daily gaming news recap. Remember, everything is linked down below if you're looking for any specific story. I did delay my cast till today, and fortunately we got some insane news coming from Microsoft, both good and primarily bad in my opinion. So we're going to start off right with that. If you haven't yet, like, follow, subscribe, all that great stuff down below. I have my drink. Let's chat. So to begin with, the good, Microsoft to launch Xbox Series X in November. Now, they didn't specify a date, but they will launch at some point in November. A lot of these sources point to early November, but again, for delays and stuff, they could always switch it back to later in November. To the bigger news here, Halo Infinite delayed till 2021. Here's the official statement by 343 Industries from their Twitter. So today I want to share an important Halo Infinite development update with the community. We have made the difficult decision to shift our release to 2021 to ensure the team has adequate time to deliver a Halo game experience that meets our vision. The decision to shift our release is a result of multiple factors that have contributed to development challenges, including the ongoing Blink-related impacts. I don't want to say it, the whole YouTube stuff, affecting us this year. I want to acknowledge the hard work from our team at 343 Industries, who have remained committed to making the great game and finding solutions in development challenges. However, it is not sustainable for the well-being of our team and the overall success of the game to ship in this holiday. We know this will be disappointing to many of you, and we will share that sentiment. The passion and support the community has shown over the years has been incredible and inspiring. We wanted nothing more than to play the game with the community this holiday. The extra time will let us finish the critical work necessary to deliver the most ambitious Halo game ever, quality that we know our fans expect. Thank you for the support and understanding. Chris Lee, Studio Head, Halo Infinite 343 Industries. Wow, this was the Xbox Series X game. This was the thing that is supposed to move systems. Halo is huge. 343 Industries has also had a lot of issues with Xbox. Two things. Number one, good that they decided to delay it. Obviously, when we saw that 8-minute demo in the Xbox Series X game showcase, there's much to be wanted from that demo. There's a lot of different texture pop-ins the closer you looked. Of course, Digital Foundry had a whole thing on lighting, but the further you look into it, it was much more than lighting that they had issues with. I've seen people pointed out there's muzzle flashes on the gun, but the reflection wasn't there on the gun. And then sometimes there weren't muzzle flashes from the gun, but the reflection was on the gun. There's super inconsistent stuff happening with the game. And then you saw a statement afterward from one of their leads saying, hey, we recognize that a lot of you guys aren't happy and we agree. I mean, the fact that they even released that footage and this didn't get checked by anyone to such a degree where it's like, man, this stuff needs to look excellent, and it looks far from excellent for our flagship game. The second point, this is a huge blow to Microsoft and the Series X. Now, Game Pass is still highly in play here. Game Pass is almost a separate entity, and Microsoft again is doubling down on Game Pass, and I think that's going to do super well for the Series X. Again, check out my video on how this could be the last Xbox console created. I talked about this, how I could be wrong and how I could be right. This is a huge blow. This is how it could be right. The Series X needs to sell well for Microsoft to continue on making Xboxes. Man, this is such a huge blow. So let's look at what else. I mean, Microsoft has promised a lot and so far not shown anything huge. Obviously, Halo is supposed to be a huge game. You know, they have the Medium, which looks really interesting, but again, it is a horror game, so it's only going to appeal to probably a certain sect of players. We're going to move on, talk about Microsoft a little bit more. So Jeff Grubb, he tweeted this out yesterday. He said, like I said, it's going to be kind of an Xbox month. It already did the xCloud announcement, and Phil already showed up on some Samsung Galaxy thing. Should still expect to see more about Xbox Series X, S, and yet another big reason to get Game Pass in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm sure he didn't mean this is supposed to be an xCloud month. or Xbox month with the 343 Industries delay of Halo. But man, I mean, again, a huge knock to Microsoft. Obviously, xCloud is coming out on Android. We'll be showing that a little bit later. And then another thing about Xbox. So this is coming from NeoGAF. This poster, X-Story AX, is a member. For those of you who don't know, Jez is a Windows Central writer and Xbox insider. So this is taken from a Twitter thread. Jez is responding to a fan. Now the fan asks, I think Xbox needs to improve on next-gen exclusive games. I'm an Xbox fan, but the games released on the PS4 like God of War, Horizon Dawn, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Xbox didn't even have anything close to them this current gen. And that is true. A lot of the stuff that I was excited about, Xbox ended up canceling. And I was thinking like, hey, maybe they're saving some of their firepower for this next gen to come out with guns blazing. I mean, we saw that with Nintendo. Nintendo came out right away with Breath of the Wild. They saved that for really the Nintendo Switch generation. They came out with Mario Odyssey. They came out guns blazing with some big stuff. Jez responds, the Xbox insider, I don't think you'll ever get these kinds of games from Xbox, sadly. You may want to grab a PlayStation instead to get these. Wow. That is rough. I mean, I think maybe what he's saying, kind of reading between the lines, is that Xbox is concentrating on Game Pass and the deals that you get from games. Now, again, you have games that aren't like these high quality AAA tier, The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima type games or God of War, but you have Minecraft, you have, Fall Guys, which made a big hit. Those are made by small teams. Maybe they're placing their bets on that and Game Pass, and those games are still phenomenal. Now, if you're looking for the exclusive games, Halo being one of them, again, just got delayed. It sucks. Further, a little bit of a nail in the Xbox coffin, so to speak, and it's still not over. I'm getting to it. Imran Khan from Kind of Funny, he talked previously about how PlayStation has been approaching developers getting more exclusivity. Now, we know that Spider-Man is coming exclusively to PlayStation for Avengers. That is insane. Good or bad. I mean, if you're a PlayStation gamer, cool, it doesn't really affect you. If you're not, that sucks, to be honest. This is Imran Khan on Resetera Forum talking about PlayStation and doing exactly that. So there isn't a major third party out there that Sony failed to approach asking what kind of deals they could work out. Some had content, some had games, and some content and games. It is not like Microsoft was not willing to offer, they just didn't want to pay the asking price because Sony approached with pretty high numbers in the first place. The PlayStation Advantage branding and the console exclusives, quote unquote, wording are both going to get a lot of use in the next few years. PlayStation is playing hardball. Now, we knew this generation Xbox needed to come out swinging. They were coming off of a big loss with the Xbox One. Not a big loss, but they still sold about 40 to 50 million consoles, I believe. So not horrible, but they were coming in under PlayStation, just like PlayStation last generation needed to step up. Now, this brings me to possibly the savior of the Xbox brand, the Xbox Series S. It has been much teased, much lauded gaming console coming from Xbox. Remember, the Xbox Series X is supposed to be the most powerful console ever, with that coming probably a pretty high price tag from $400 to $500, matching what PlayStation 5 has in store as far as pricing and probably pretty similar performance on third-party games. I wouldn't imagine two different performance depending on which one is the lead brand there. But we have seen the Series X has taken a number of stumbles right out of the gate. Halo, that not coming out is a big stumble. Now, the people that are going to buy the Series X, like me, are going to want the best games that play the best. They're going to get the Series X no matter what, as long as the games are there. That might not be the case. Now, where the Xbox brand could succeed is on a really cheap, well-priced 1080p beast of a console. That's where the lauded Xbox Series S comes in, or Project Lockhart. Now, this was leaked in the wild. We saw this yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, August 9th. This guy, Zach S., apparently bought this controller from OfferUp for $35. It is being reported now that apparently this was probably stolen from a Best Buy. It is a Series S controller. As we can see, he turns it over, and there's actually like white triggers. We're going to see a few more pictures later. But this is what I think might be the savior. This is coming from The Verge, Jeff Grubb again, why the Xbox Series S is such a smart move by Microsoft. In my previous reflections with Matty, when I was talking about how the Xbox Series X could be the last console, I chose this as a prime example of why that might not be, as an example against my argument. The Xbox Series X could come in at that $250 price point and completely dominate this generation, just like the Nintendo Switch has proven to do. You buy this, maybe get a free couple months of Game Pass. Most people still have a 1080p screen. If it's as powerful or more powerful than the Xbox One X, man, that is some wonderful 1080p gaming. You're able to play all the latest games for the price of 3 games per year. What a phenomenal thing. They could sell so many of these and by default end up saving the Xbox brand, because the Series X seems to have more and more against it every time as we go along in 2020 here. Hopefully nothing else comes out against it. Sometimes I feel like I'm so down on Xbox, but this, again, the Xbox Series S is unfortunately what excites me the most about Xbox right now, and maybe that's the thing I'll go for. I'm definitely so far planning on getting the PlayStation 5. We also get to see a little bit further details from the Xbox Series X controller, or Series S, as I keep on saying. So we can see the white triggers a little bit here on the underside of the box. Looks really good. I mean, looks like a nice Xbox controller. Really nothing crazy there. So just to be clear. In other news, delays. Vampire Bloodlines 2 is also getting a delay until 2021. Won't spend too much time on this in case you're looking forward to it. It is getting delayed. Also, Shroud is returning to Twitch exclusively. Now, Shroud being one of the streamers that's a free agent along with Ninja since the Mixer service shut down. Again, we alluded to this is why Dr. Disrespect could have been banned from Twitch. Remember, Dr. Disrespect had an insane deal with Twitch, multi-million-dollar contract. Maybe they found some loophole to ban him, thus ending the contract. Now that Mixer is no longer a competitor at all, now they can buy Shroud, now they can buy Ninja back at a cheaper price, and these guys are a little bit more family friendly. Dr. Disrespect, of course, is known for a little bit of controversy, definitely a little bit harsher of a person as well. So maybe that could be the reason. If you go ahead and read into this, it's a big deal. Gerzak was one of the biggest names on Twitch pre-Mixer acquisition, and him leaving the site last October for then greener pastures appeared to be a signal of worrying exodus of talent from Twitch onto other completing live stream platforms like YouTube Gaming, Mixer. Then 10 months and one ongoing pandemic later, Mixer is going to the entire live streaming game landscape has shifted again. So he's coming back to Twitch. Again, what does this leave for Dr. Disrespect? He's been gaming, doing the YouTube live gaming. So hopefully we'll see him more often as well, and that all gets settled out. Hyperscape now available on consoles. Get the season 1 details here so you can download it on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It is a free-to-play game by Ubisoft. Apparently very fast and vicious. I haven't been able to play it yet, but I will definitely check it out. I'm almost done with Last of Us Part 2, so I'll have a review and discussion about that as well. Go ahead and check out Hyperscape. And Warner Brothers is no longer being acquired. So what happened? What a interesting story. Warner Brothers games was originally on sale. Remember, that includes Rocksteady, which is the Batman developer. You know, we see in the developer for Mortal Kombat as well. But again, they weren't being sold with any of these properties. So Batman, Harry Potter in particular, they would have stayed with Warner Brothers. AT&T is the parent company of Warner Brothers. So let's read this. It's coming from Push Square from Sammy Barker. Warner Brothers parent company AT&T appears to have taken a dramatic U-turn and decided to take its gaming division off the market. There was speculation that the giant was shopping studios like NetherRealm and Rocksteady around as it attempted to offload its interactive entertainment business in order to clear some outstanding debt. However, that is no longer appears to be the case. In an email to staff, CEO Jason Killer explained that while the firm will be undergoing some structural changes, Warner Brothers Games, quote, remains part of the studio and network groups. He added that while the changes may prove to be a lot to take in, he's confident the company will successfully navigate them. no longer selling. Everyone can calm down. I know Microsoft is looking at it, Activision, EA, but now we are seeing the same old. I'm excited for it. Summer Game Fest continues. Of course, we had Night City Wire happen yesterday. I'm going to talk about that at the very end. DC Fandom is a big one coming up on August 22nd. Now it is remain to be seen, but we're supposed to hear about both a Suicide Squad game, the Kill the Justice League game possibly, and then we're also supposed to hopefully hear about the next Batman game. That's a 24-hour thing. I definitely will be tuning in on August 22nd, giving my thoughts on the games and anything they show. I'm very excited to see those. I really love the Batman games personally. Also, we have Fall Guys absolutely killing it. They have done so well. PS4 course launching as a PS Plus game. Reminds me of when Rocket League launched as a PS Plus game all the way back in the day, ensuring its massive success. Fall Guys launched on, of course, Steam and killed it there as well. Congratulations to Devolver Digital and Mediatronic. Just amazing stuff. I've been able to play it a few times, not gotten the crown yet. I've only been able to play it like really a handful of times. So very excited for it. I really enjoy the game. Go ahead and check it out if you have PS Plus right now, or of course Steam. Also, some more crazy stuff. Street Fighter brand boss Yoshinori Ono is leaving Capcom. We're gonna read his statement and we're gonna go into maybe why. Remember, we actually talked about this last week. So in a statement published on his Twitter account, Ono thanked the fighting game community for the support and said that a new generation would lead the Street Fighter brand. Ono did not give a reason for the departure, though the recognized insider and alleged that Ono recently stepped away from in-development Street Fighter 6 project due to skepticism around its direction. Remember, that's coming from Aesthetic Gamer. He's a known Capcom insider. Talk about that in a moment. I've been with Street Fighter brand for a long time, experiencing good times, bad times, and even non-existent times, he wrote. My heart is filled with appreciation for those players who have been given warm and kind support on this brand, especially a little over the past decade or so. Of all the activities on the Street Fighter brand regained sunshine and grew its liveliness. He added, and now, after serving almost 30 years at Capcom, I'm leaving the company in the summer. This means that I will resign my position as brand manager for Capcom's various titles, including Street Fighter. Capcom staff is the new generation that will continue taking care of Street Fighter brand and leading the World Warriors. And I do believe that they continue to making the brand of Street Fighter extraordinary. Come on, get it. I will look forward to seeing the new Street Fighter brand and how it's going to expand as just one of the regular gamers next time. So again, Aesthetic Gamer did tweet out that Ono was taking Street Fighter 6 in a weird direction. They said they had this team fighting mechanic that wasn't working out, and Ono was removed as the project lead for that game. Now remember, the recent Street Fighter 5 season pass, which was kind of surprise announced, the reason for apparently that being announced and it even being a thing is because Street Fighter 6 was supposed to be released much earlier, but because of Ono and some decisions he may have made, now they have to delay that game until later 2021. So pretty crazy. I mean, definitely a big guy in the industry retiring. Hopefully he finds a new project or maybe just enjoys his retirement. He's been there for quite a while. Also, Sega is coming from Push Square, looking at more games following Persona 4 Golden PC success. We've seen this a few times. There's been a few other Sega games that have done very well. So I'm surprised they haven't ported more stuff even before Persona 4 Golden. So it seems though Sega's starting to realize that releasing its fan favorite games all over again is a good way to make money. Let's not forget the remaster of classic Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne is in the works, which is set to release in spring 2021. So what ports would you like to see? Now go ahead and comment below. What ports would you like to see? Personally, I would love to see all the Persona games, just stuff that's just quicker loading, maybe small remakes into full 3Ds. I want to see Persona 3. I want to see Persona 3 Portable mixed with Persona 3 FES. And all the extra goodness made into a little bit higher quality kind of Persona 3 FES. Remember, that's the 3D. And Persona 3 Portable was made for the PlayStation Portable. So you have all this wonderful artwork and assets and an extra character on the portable version that isn't on the FES version. So that'd be cool if they fully combine them. Finally, I just want to see more and more of that stuff. And then of course, if you haven't yet, please like, follow, subscribe, comment down below. What would you like to see from Sega on the PC side? Also, what do you think about Xbox? Is the Series S going to be the crown jewel for Xbox? Is that going to save the brand? I think it will. I think the Series X is going to have some big trouble this next coming generation, especially with Halo's development delay. So let me know what you guys think of that. Now moving on, we have some more news. Microsoft open xCloud game streaming beta early tomorrow. That is today. So if you're on Android, go ahead and try the beta. If you're interested in trying out the game streaming xCloud today, then you'll need an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber and have the Xbox Game Pass beta app from the Google Play Store. So go ahead and check that out. Remember, the iOS version probably will not be seen because Apple is fully blocking that. This coming from The Verge. Call of Duty hints at Call of Duty. So what does that mean? IGN showed a number of people got these boxes that said don't open the crate until Monday, which was yesterday. Now here's the box. They opened the crate, and what did it hint at? Well, it showed a hint at another teaser. So really, all that means to you is this Friday they should be announcing something. It's annoying, but should be a nice collectible for the IGN and other offices to have. Kotaku here has new Last of Us Part 2 trophies, Tease, Grounded Mode, and Permadeath. Man, so I've been playing The Last of Us on normal. I usually play on normal or hard. I decided, I want to get through it quicker. I'll play through it on normal. I would say it's been pretty easy for me. There's been a lot of stuff, and I wouldn't say the previous game was. So I'm not really sure why that is, but the restarts are pretty quick, and I'm trying to collect everything, hopefully eventually platinum it. But let's go through what this could mean. So the Grounded Mode came out for the previous game, the regular Last of Us, and they haven't announced exactly what's coming out, but they said it's probably safe to expect a few of the same challenges from the first game, like sparse supplies, the lack of a HUD and listen mode, and increased enemy damage to make a return, so making it a little bit more intense. And The Last of Us Part 2 will also receive a permadeath option at some point. It goes on to say they don't know if the permadeath option and the grounded mode are one and the same thing, or they can be separate options. The permadeath mode, man, and also this is a pretty long game, around 20 hours or so I'm experiencing. So with permadeath, that could be intense. Very exciting though. I definitely might try it. Definitely might try it. I don't know if I will, because I still want to play Ghost of Tsushima and of course Paper Mario, and then we also have Cyberpunk, which we'll be talking about momentarily. But before that, we have a Tony Hawk Burrito. Now, Chipotle has a new Tony Hawk Burrito, and it can give you early access to the new game. Unfortunately, this was on Monday in the first 2,000 customers. But let me know if you got one of these Tony Hawk Burritos and you got a code to play Tony Hawk. I definitely wanted to. I wasn't feeling like a burrito yesterday, and by the time I was done putting the news together, I actually did all the news yesterday, and it was late, so that's why I didn't produce anything. It was already too late. 2,000 burritos have already been sold. So go ahead and let me know below if you got one of these demo codes. I'd be really interested. And then Marvel's Avengers, yes, they have really specific awards for everything, including Verizon. You get these nice suits. If you have Virgin Mobile, you get these old style suits. You get the old style armor for Iron Man. And really, if you have anything, they're doing so many. 5 Gum, they're doing a Marvel's Avengers exclusive. Marvel's Avengers are going to be doing tons of exclusive costumes. They're just costumes. That doesn't bother me much. Again, the exclusive character for PlayStation is pretty crazy. Let's go on to the last big news, Cyberpunk. They recently had a Night City Wire again for Cyberpunk, going through some of the game. They revealed a lot of cool stuff. Now this I thought was much better than the previous Night City Wire that happened. They revealed the different life paths for the Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo. Now, if you looked at any of the other previous information by journalists got to play a lot of stuff early on. And from what I heard from them, I went through a bunch of them, and they said, oh yeah, you have kind of the same starting, or kind of a different starting if you're Nomad, Corpo, Street Kid, but eventually everything converges, and it seems like the game is going to be the same all the way throughout. That is not true. They showed that you could be one of these guys. The Street Kid, you would know everyone on the street, you would have more connections, you would be more familiar with people, you'd be more familiar with certain drugs and stuff. If you're corporate, you're more familiar with different corporations and how they deal with each other. Now, each of these things will actually give you different dialogue paths throughout the entirety of the game, changing how many missions play out or even certain options in missions. They just showed one mission and how it could play out differently for each of these guys. Now, that's cool that it will actually follow you throughout the entire game. I was concerned it would just be a start, but it seems like some missions will play out entirely differently. Now, going into weapons and that possibly. So weapons have rarities. There's tons of different weapons. I'm going to quickly read through all the different types. So there's smart weapons, which have homing missiles. There's also melee weapons like katanas and thermal katanas and all sorts of stuff. There's cyberware, which include the mantis blades and anything that kind of comes out of your own arm that you can attach. There's power weapons, which are very similar to contemporary weapons, and they have things like ricochet bullets, so you can bounce it off of a wall. There's tech weapons, which you can punch through walls like an electric railgun. And then there's throwables, which they didn't really show any of the throwables. I'm assuming that's going to be grenades or knives and stuff like that. There's a lot that you can do with these weapons, and a lot of them sound awesome and really intense. There's different weapon rarities. There's common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. The legendary are truly going to be legendary. You need to get them from specific people, specific enemies. Maybe there's someone you want a legendary weapon from, but you like them as a character, so you would have to normally kill them as a character to get the legendary weapon. But that might actually collude, and maybe if you chose like a nomad life path versus a corporal life path, you would actually be able to convince them to give you the weapon. Or maybe there's some other different ways of getting it. Maybe putting them, knocking them out and then taking the weapon instead of fully killing them. And who knows what consequences that might have later on. So it sounds really phenomenal. I'm super into this. Now, they also talked about different weapon mods. So there's weapon mods and there's attachments. The attachments, you can put different scopes. These are things you can generally actually see on the weapon. So scopes, it looks like you can attach different like flashlights, maybe a laser pointer, tons of different stuff. And there's also weapon mods, which are more actually affect the stacks of the weapon. So the attack, they also may affect an elemental, like doing elemental damage. And they talked about different weapon manufacturers and how you could have a shotgun, but from different manufacturers to different things. Reminded me a lot of the way Borderlands handles weapons. They have, of course, have like Torg and other manufacturers that, you know, a Torg weapon will be stronger, but maybe not, you know, some weapons you throw and they actually blow up. So it sounds really, really cool, really, really in depth. All the weapons looked really nice, and hopefully they all feel really nice. So super exciting. I thought this was a great show for Cyberpunk 2077. I'm very excited for it after this in particular. Also, they said there's so much to talk about as far as weapons. There's offensive guns, there's defensive guns, there's things that act like armor. So it sounds really in-depth, really fantastic. Go ahead and check this out. This was about 30 minutes. I just breaking down all the main points of it for you. Again, they talked about weapons. They also talked about the band Samurai, which in game is Keanu Reeves' band in the game, which looks really interesting. So they went more into the music. It sounds like the music variety will be pretty big. Samurai was more of a grunge kind of not screamo, but it had some screaming kind of punk band. So it sounded pretty cool, and it sounds like there's going to be quite a different variety in the music and everything for Cyberpunk. I'm very, very excited, especially after this. So go ahead and check it out. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for the news for today. Again, I'm Matty, and this has been Chatty with Matty, your source for the daily gaming news recap. This on Tuesday. Remember, we'll have one tomorrow. Don't forget to check me out on the 3 Tease and IG, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. I have more stuff coming. Later this week, I'm going to be building out this entire office area. I finally have my stuff coming from IKEA, which has taken like 3 weeks. It's been insane, and I'll be available to do a little bit more stuff for you guys in the next coming weeks. Have a wonderful day. Remember,
be yourself
and eat a cookie. Bye.